Welcome to this explainer. Okay, right off the bat, I want you to think of me as your personal, local Pakistani trekking guide today. We're going to set the stage for an orientation briefing on literally one of the most magnificent sights on planet Earth, seeing K2. But we're going to look at exactly how to get those legendary, awe-inspiring views of the Savage Mountain without actually enduring the grueling grind of the traditional base camp route. Let's dive right in. Look, we've got to acknowledge a hard truth right up front here. The full K2 base camp trek. It is a massive, massive undertaking. I mean, it's absolutely one of the greatest treks in the world, yes, but it requires intense physical fitness, deep pockets for extended expedition support, and extreme acclimatization to handle that tough terrain. It's simply not feasible for every single traveler, whether that's due to limited time, resources, or age. So, my question for you is, do you want those pristine K2 views, but with a smarter, maybe more budget-friendly way to get there? So, here's our itinerary for today's explainer. First, why skip base camp? Then we'll look at the Machulo La panorama, Homrok and Massa's Peak, the extreme Gondogoro challenge, and finally, the absolute best route for beginners. All right, section 1, why skip base camp? Let's talk about the real benefits of shorter treks. Shorter treks of roughly 10 to 14 days are an absolute lifesaver for budget-conscious travelers. I mean, you're saving thousands on extended porter fees and expedition costs. Plus, the positioning of these specific trails gives you world-class photography setups. Pro tip from a local here, definitely bring a sturdy tripod and a 70 to 200 millimeter zoom lens. You want that to compress the distance and capture those legendary peaks in really crisp detail. Moving right along to section 2, the Machulo La panorama. This is for sure our top trending short trek. So, over just 6 to 7 days in the Baltistan high mountain zone, you're going to encounter moderate to demanding difficulty. And yes, because it demands some pretty aggressive elevation gains, you're going to feel it. But the payoff is just massive. You don't just see K2, you get this stunning visual feast of Broad Peak, the Gashabrum group, that's G1, G2, G4, Masharbrum, Nanga Parbat, and Saltarho Kangri. It's an incredible visual return for a relatively short time investment. And here's the best part. Because the massive crowds are all funneling into the main base camp trail, this route remains beautifully quiet. It's literally the perfect environment to just set up your gear, grab a hot cup of chai, and wait for that perfect golden hour light to strike the Karakoram giants. Okay, section 3, Homrok and Massa's Peak. We're focusing on accessible scenery and alpine beauty here. Let's walk through this quick comparison. Homrok is incredibly manageable, just 4 to 5 days of moderate trekking starting from the Kandy Valley. And actually, as a local guide, I always advise my groups to treat these starting villages with immense respect. Always ask before taking portraits of the locals, and make sure you dress modestly as you pass through. Now, Massa's Peak starts from Barada Village and takes 4 to 6 days. While it's rated easy to moderate, it does feature some really eye-catching, aggressive elevation gains that lead to highly memorable views. Now, I want to pause right here, because this is absolutely vital for your planning. Whether you choose Homrok, Massa's Peak, or really any of the treks we're covering today, the optimal window is strictly between June and September. You have to book during this season if you want the best weather and trail conditions. When we compare the actual visual rewards, Homrok is arguably your strongest alternative if you want a really nice balance of altitude comfort and classic scenery, giving you super clear views of K2, Broad Peak, and Masharbrum. Massa's Peak, on the other hand, offers a slightly different flavor. You get a much farther view of K2 and Broad Peak, but its real charm, it lies in its hidden, just breathtaking alpine beauty. All right, section 4, the Extreme Gondogoro Challenge. This is your elite mountain panorama. I need to give you a very serious warning here. Gondogoro is absolutely not a casual walk. Let's compare the physical demands for a second. Machulo La is a 6 to 7 day moderate to demanding trek. The Gondogoro upper viewpoints, they spike to an 8 to 12 day commitment, and the difficulty goes from moderate straight to extreme. It's a massive step up. Starting out from the Hushe Valley, Gondogoro delivers one of the most respected panoramas in all of Pakistan. You get exceptional mountain exposure. We're talking K2, Broad Peak, Gashabrum 4, and almost every single peak in the Baltoro region. But to tackle this, you will absolutely need to secure local support resources. Experienced high-altitude porters and certified guides from the region are totally essential for navigating this terrain safely. So the strict requirement here is that Gondogoro is not for novices.
Prior altitude experience is completely mandatory. You also need the right gear for Baltistan weather conditions: stiff, cramp-compatible mountaineering boots, a really comprehensive layering system to handle extreme temperature swings, and essentials like a 0-degree sleeping bag and UV-rated glacier glasses. Which brings us to Section 5, the best route for beginners. Let's call this the altitude escalator. As a local guide, here is my exact master plan recommended 4-step progression for building up your mountain endurance safely. Step 1, you tackle the wider panoramas of the Machulo La trek. Step 2, move to the balanced accessibility of the Hunza trek. Step 3, once you're ready, step up to the elite challenge of the Gondogoro high viewpoint. And finally, Step 4, explore the hidden alpine beauty of Barabrak Moss's Peak. The whole strategy behind this specific order is to help your body adapt safely. It allows for this nice, gradual exposure to altitude, which minimizes your risk of altitude sickness, all while constantly feeding you incredible mountain rewards. You never feel like you're just doing a boring training hike, you know? Every single step is spectacular. After years of guiding, this practical reality remains so clear to me. Some of the most memorable K2 views are found far before reaching full base camp. You just don't need the grueling base camp expedition to have the trip of a lifetime. Oh, and one quick logistical aside, even for these shorter trails, you're going to need your travel documents in order, which includes your Pakistani visa and a no-objection certificate, or NOC, for those restricted zones. So I'm going to leave you with this thought. Whether it's the quiet photography spots of Machulo, the balanced alpine beauty of Hunza, the elite panorama of Gondogoro, or the aggressive elevation of Moss's Peak, which of these incredible Pakistani trails is going to be your first step toward viewing K2? I really hope this explainer has inspired you to start planning, and I cannot wait to see you out on the trails.